Hey everybody, and welcome back to another GYLS Momentum session, the first one of 2015. I'm super pumped. We have an all-star guest with us, all the way from Fiji, where it's 3 in the morning right now, and she's up and ready to rock with you guys. Kaila is honestly amazing. She was a youth leader at GYLS, and that speaks for itself. No introduction is needed. She's just incredible. And she's going to be talking about some awesome stuff. Now, quick housekeeping stuff right off the bat. Your questions and comments, if you're watching live, post in the GYLS Momentum Sessions Facebook group. The post that's pinned to the top. Just ask your questions under there. If you're watching this live, make sure you click on the live button in case you started late so that you're watching up to date. And without further ado, here's Kaila.
Hi. Am I on the big screen thing yet? Okay. Hi, everybody. So what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today was something I think we all go through. Has anybody ever been in a situation where it's like you're talking to someone and they just don't get it? Like you're just constantly butting heads with this person because they're just not getting it, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. What I want to talk to you about is kind of going to help you fix that and never get in that situation again, or if you do get in that situation, help you to move past that and get to your end outcome. And really what you have to do is ask yourself a series of questions when you're going through this. The first thing you really want to ask yourself when you're talking to someone, and this can seem kind of self-explanatory, but I feel like we get very caught up in our stories, is what is your end outcome from what we're talking about? What do you want to get out of this conversation? And by doing that, you're eliminating whatever story you have and dropping your ego. So if you're talking to someone and your end outcome is to get from point A to point B, when you realize that point B is what you really want, you're okay with dropping all of the things that you felt like were right to get there. Because we get very caught up in being right and not as much being happy or getting what we want. Um, and then the next thing you need to figure out is what is their end outcome. You're getting so frustrated and butting heads with them, you just need to stop for a second, take a deep breath, and think through their eyes. Think, what do they truly want from this? And then why do they want it? What belief system do they have that's making them want what they want? So whether that is fighting with your parents and they're not letting you go somewhere, the end outcome of what do they want? What they want is to make you happy and to keep you safe because they love you. And why do they feel that way? And go through and think, how can you connect with their story? How do you connect with what they're saying within yourself? And then think what it's like to be them. Because we can all say very easily, oh, if I was in their shoes, I would do it differently. If I was here, I would do this. If I was in this situation, I would handle it this way. But you have to truly get into their shoes and into their mindset and see how they would see the world through their thought processes and their worldview to understand truly why they're doing what they're doing. And then once you do that, you can get to a point where you get to the end outcome for both of you. Because when you're in an argument with someone, when you're fighting with someone, it's truly my belief, and this could be a controversial topic, it's truly my belief through what I've experienced in the world that there is no such thing as a bad person. There's no such thing as a person that is truly evil. There's only people that are scared and hurt because hurt people hurt people. So when you're talking through someone, they're not a bad person. Even if it's a bully in school, they've just gone through things that have made them feel like that is the proper way to conduct themselves in the situation, or that's going to get them what they want. And if you can go through, say you're talking to a bully in school that's bullying you about you being fat, if you can go and see it through their eyes and see what they've gone through or what they might have gone through, what they're feeling that's making them feel that way, you see that it's really their own insecurity. And you can see, what do they want? Do they want to feel like they're pretty? Do they want to feel like they're enough? Do they want to feel, what is their end outcome for bullying you? And what is your end outcome? Your end outcome is to stop being bullied, and their end outcome is to feel loved and significant. So from that, dropping your ego and being able to say, it's okay, and being able to not want to react to, we'll use a bully for an example, and not want to just get a jab back at them, but knowing your end outcome and dropping the ego within it, and truly thinking, how do I get to where this person feels love and significance, and where this type of action stops happening. And when you can clearly take a step back and just take a deep breath, is when you can get effective communication with someone. And that's when you can truly begin to understand their world. It's a term we use a lot within the RI community, within GYLS, within everything around that nature, is understanding and appreciating someone's world. But what does that even mean? How do you truly get to understand someone's world? And it's by not seeing the world through your eyes and seeing what you would do in their situation. It's understanding what they've gone through and the emotions they're feeling, because it's not, as one of my most amazing leaders would say, we're not human doings. Like, it's not about what has happened, what we've done. It's about the emotions we've taken from that. So you can see on paper, two people can see a fact sheet and a fact sheet and take completely different things from it. So being able to get into another person's mind and seeing the emotions that they're feeling. Are they scared? Are they angry? Are they hurt? And being able to go through that mindset is going to help you get into their head, get to the end outcome. One of the biggest things with this is being able to drop your ego. And I have specific stories. From a great example would be, I got into an argument with one of my best friends in the world. And I can talk about this now because I'm great friends with this person again. But we got into an argument and we were butting heads, and it was an argument about opinion. Both of us were right. Both of us are still right. And we will always still be right, because it is the way we see the world. And it's something that is completely up to opinion, but it ruined our friendship for 6 months because I was never willing to drop my ego. I was never willing to say, you know what? What's more important to me is having that bond and that connection and that friendship with that person, regardless of whether we disagree on something that's really insignificant to our friendship. And for 6 months, I didn't talk to the person until I was really able to stop and think and go through their eyes and think, what's more important, being right or being happy? Do you want to be the person that is right and alone, or do you want to be the person that's happy and has amazing connections? So that's when, truly seeing it through that person's eyes, I was able to go, and now we've rekindled that friendship, and I can go in a way and understand and appreciate that person's world and what they were going through, and really be able to rekindle that and have an amazing friendship now. Another example would be if you're talking with your parents, and I feel like this is a huge part of what this is all about, is being able to communicate with your parents. And I could go on about this for hours and have to rein myself in, because parent negotiating 101 is a huge thing for me. But if you're talking to your parents, knowing that, going into their shoes, thinking about what they're thinking, all they want for you ever is for you to be the best possible person that you can be. So thinking, if your parents are afraid for you, they want you to be happy, looking through their world instead of saying, oh my gosh, my parents suck, or my parents don't have this great, they don't understand me, they don't get me, they don't want me to experience these things in the world. Instead, if you were to take a step back and say, okay, what do my parents actually want? And what they actually want in most cases is they want you to be safe, happy, and the best that you can be. And sometimes that can come across as being overprotective, or that can come across as being mean in your head. but to them, they're helping you. So how do you take a step back and get their desired outcome, which is for you to be safe, happy, and the best that you can be, and your desired outcome, which is to have new experiences in the world or be able to go on that camping trip with your friends, and you can, from that, have a deeper understanding and be able to talk to them about, okay, so from here, you want me to be able to be the best that I can be in the world. And for me to do that, I need to have these new experiences. In this situation is a situation where I'm going to be safe and loved by the people around me. And it's a situation where I can get out and have new experiences and I will still be safe and expanding as a person. And being able to take it from that, I can tell you as a teenager, you can have such a better relationship with people around you. Your relationship with them is just so much richer because you're truly both happy with what is happening. You're happy with the experiences you're able to have, and your parents are happy in the way that you're having those experiences. And this is just something, it can be a very difficult thing to teach. It can be kind of an intuitive thing, and it changes step by step. And it can change with each person. It's so different. It's a very intuitive thing to teach a person. However, I feel like we all have it within us to do it. We all have it within us to have sensory acuity and to be emotionally intelligent in situations and really get to, if we take that step back and get out of our stories, get out of our mindset, and get out of our way of thinking, it's like, I don't know if anyone knows what a horseshoe crab is. I'm from the islands, we know like weird things, but this crab will go against, there'll be a wall, and this crab wants to go. And this crab will go and just hit against the wall. It will go in a straight line, and it always will just hit against the wall, hit against the wall, hit against the wall. Even if it is open on this side and open on this side, but he ended up hitting this rock the first time, he will keep going straight and hitting the rocks, and he'll do it for hours. And we can all be like that. We can all be horseshoe crabs all the time. But if we just take a step back and kind of do a little 180 look, you can just do that and get to your end outcome. And breaking through that can be life-changing in your communication skills. And it's something that's come more in handy to me in my life than I think any other skill that I've ever learned. And this is a controversial thing, but I don't feel like anybody's bad. So coming from that, and coming from there's only hurt people and scared people, you can create a deeper feeling of empathy and compassion for a person. When you can be empathetic and compassionate towards a person, you can open up the world to an entirely different thing. I mean, I'm not teaching anything new. This is the first step in the 7 master steps that Tony teaches. I think I just kind of explained why. And so it's nothing that I'm teaching. It's just something that comes in handy for me in life, and I feel like does for a lot of us. So that's kind of my spiel. And we can take some questions if anybody has like a specific example that they want to talk about. If anybody's having a specific person or has any questions about technique with that, we can take a couple of questions.
Let me see if we have any. I'm pretty sure I've actually been commenting a lot. That horseshoe crab analogy was amazing, and Rachel actually commented that it basically changed her life. It's actually incredible when you think about it. So many people do that, but when you think about the analogy of the crab just bumping into the same wall over and over, you're like, wow, it's so dumb, but we all actually do that. It's ridiculous. If you just take a step back and kind of look around, like, that's such an incredible analogy. What do they look like? Do you have a picture of one?
Please hold. An operator will be with you shortly.
But yeah, I don't think we have any questions as of right now. We have a couple viewers. I'm not sure if they're watching fully live or if they're behind a bit, but when you get to this point, if you have any questions and you're watching live, on the Momentum Session group pinned to the top, just comment under there and ask your question. So back to you, Kayla.
Find a horseshoe crab for you.
Are you looking for the horseshoe crab?
Maybe. I don't know if I should just go into more specific examples of what I might have had with this and different ways that it's shown up in my life or in people's lives that I know around me.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay. I've had a couple different situations, and I try to think of things that are in different areas of life so that they come across differently. Um, Someone that was a very good friend of mine was doing things that I didn't necessarily approve of. In my worldview, they weren't okay. She was going places and trying things that I wasn't okay with, and for a while, I'm noticing a pattern that I tend to be stubborn. I was just like, you know what? I'm here for you, but I'm not going to be around you. I'm not going to hang out with you. I'm not going to go and spend time with you if those are the things that you're going to do. And later, maybe a month later, I took a step back and I was like, what's been happening? Like, this is such a change in her life, a change in what she does. This isn't just her trying different things or being a rebellious teenager. What's happening? And you take a look through, and the pattern change was so abrupt that you start diving into it and you start to try and understand where she's coming from as a person. And you find out, and I found out that she had actually gone through something incredibly traumatic, but was in a situation where she couldn't tell anymore. And for that, like getting into what she was thinking and then all of a sudden seeing the world through what she was seeing and knowing what she had gone through, it was, you were able to just completely accept what she had gone through, and from that I was able to finally help her and get her out of the situation that she was in, um, because instead of judging her, I was understanding and I was listening. And when we're all speaking to people, it's it can be very difficult to not judge and listen, because you can do one or the other. You can't do both. You can be judgmental or you can be understanding. You can't be both. And to be able to stop that and drop the judgmental side can be really amazing when you finally stop and you can see the world from what another person's thinking, because people don't tend to do something just because, or do something, especially something that's hurtful, just because, YOLO. They have a reason and a story behind it and emotions they're feeling as to why. And that, like, being able to get through that and really understand that, it was such an opening thing. And then from that, you were able to help her and go into a different area and bring her back into the light. Um, and that was just an amazing example for me personally.
That was an awesome example. I think someone else just commented. Let me check. Just gotta load. Um, Rachel, I think she had a question. Where do you draw the line between understanding and appreciating the world and getting too caught up in the story and facilitating no change?
Where you get that is also, it can be difficult. When you're listening to a person, you have to find that line. Um, and you can see it in their patterns. You can see it in what they're saying. What you want to be able to do is, while you're listening, when you feel like you've gotten to a point where you understand where they're coming from and when you can see the patterns behind it, when you feel like you can see what's been happening or what you feel like emotion is directly behind it, because I mean, actions don't drive people, emotions do. Um, so when you feel the emotion that's coming behind it, what you want to be able to do is deal with the emotion. So once you're talking to a person, if you can see that it's, okay, this person is truly scared or this person is truly angry, that's when you can stop their story. And when they feel like they're repeating themselves, when you feel like all they can do, when they're saying the same story over and over, even if it's in different words or in a different context, um, once you get the emotion behind what they're saying, stop it. And you then move forward from that. Um, yes, there's definitely a hard difference between understanding and making excuses. Um, but once you take a minute to understand, because however much a person's story can be holding them back, it can be very useful to you in certain areas, that you don't want to cut it off right before you find out anything. Because you don't know if something traumatic might have happened or something that could really be driving what they're doing. Um, However, once you get through the story, once you understand the driving emotion behind it, is when you want to start pulling them out of the story and cutting the story. Um, to find that, I would say, to find that line, I would say go to the point where you feel like they're starting to repeat it, even if it's in different words. When you get the driving emotion, but when you feel like they're starting to repeat what they're saying, that is when I put the stop to it.
Very nice. Very nice. I think I have a question for you actually, which might be kind of hard to answer, but hopefully you can shed some light on it. I really liked what you said about it's not about looking at the other person's world through your own eyes, it's about looking at the other person's world through their own eyes. How would you suggest doing that? Is there like some things you can do? I know it's kind of a weird, hard question, but hopefully you can. Hopefully you
Um, what I would say is, if you're going to do that, you can tell a person's driving emotion when you're talking to them, or by going through and when you're talking to them, trying to figure out what their top two needs are, which most people should know, but if you're not aware of the needs, everyone has needs for variety, certainty, love and connection, growth and contribution, and significance. So to find those human needs, when you're talking to a person, you can get that by their language patterns. So if a person's always saying, it was so crazy, there was, or no one was listening to me, no one was paying attention to me, you can get that they're probably significant to something. Or if they're saying they're so alone all the time, you can tell that love and connection is something that they're important with. And being able to go through there, it can give you kind of a hint towards it. But when you truly know the person, being able to just say, like, step into their, even almost step into their language patterns in your head and just feel like what is the major emotion that they're feeling. So if you can see in their head by their language patterns that they're feeling majorly afraid or majorly hurt, if you can take that situation that you know that they went through and say, okay, if the emotion I was feeling, instead of feeling empowered, instead of feeling like I'm going to bust through this, if I was feeling hurt, if I was feeling scared, if I was feeling like I wasn't enough or like the world was against me, how would this have affected me? If that was the major emotion that was going through my mind, how would this have affected me? And I feel like that's the major way to really understand how they were feeling, is to get the emotion that they were feeling.
That was a really great answer. It actually cleared up a lot. We actually have another question from Maria, all the way from Panama. Maria Del Mar Arias. Thank you for reminding me that the people act in a way because of what they go through, and that is better to be a friend and understand instead of judging. Yeah, that's awesome. I think you reminded all of us
Yeah.
of that.
I love you, Maria. You're the best. I just felt like such a soft spot in my heart for her. She's amazing.
Yeah, you guys are all amazing. GYLS is incredible. And applications are actually coming out soon. I'm so pumped. They usually come
Yeah.
out in like January, February, so stay tuned. Um, I think it's like 3:30 for you, so if you have
Yeah,
any more key points, you can drop them. If not, you can wrap up.
yeah, we can wrap up. This has been amazing. Thank you, Sergio. I know, like, you've just been such a boss with all of this. You've been so committed, and I know, like, everyone gives you a shout out in the beginning, but you're just so freaking amazing with how committed you've been. Like, nobody shows the level of commitment, and you're so good at just you drop your ego like nothing and make everyone else feel so special and amazing all the time. Like, can we all just holla for Sergio for a second? Because he's just amazing.
Thank you so much, Kayla. It means a lot, but really you guys are the stars. I just kind of turn it on, but all of the gems, all the knowledge come from all of you guys. So thank you to everyone who's ever signed up for one. Thank you to you. Thank you to all the future people and all the viewers, pretty much everyone except for me. It's all you guys that make it happen. I just kind of facilitate it. But without speakers and without viewers, it's nothing. So thank you so much. We all definitely learned a lot. I can't wait to rewatch this one because that was just so much gold. I was like taking notes, but I have to rewatch it. And by the way, it'll be up on YouTube if you're watching live, just so you know. And yeah, send us home.
All right. This has been so amazing. Thank you, everybody. I mean, everybody that's come out and support tonight, or everyone that's watching this later, just thank you. I mean, this is a huge. I was very nervous to do this, and this has just been so amazing to be able to share what I love doing with all of you.
You did such a great job. All right, see you guys next week.
Good night or good morning for you.